So a lot of stuff in the news about like this woman named Jody Hildebrand, who was friends with uh, Ruby Frank, a woman from YouTube, a YouTuber. I mean, not surprised. Uh, who was a Mormon, but she was also a child abuser. And then she got heavily involved with this woman, and they began basically like abusing these kids together. Now, this woman's niece had an interview recently where she revealed that this woman. I mean, it was a crazy account of abuse. It was a lot of abuse, a lot of manipulation, psychological manipulation, physical restraining, um, domination, um, tyrannical rule, so to speak, by this woman Jody Hildebrand and her niece, who identifies as they or they them, is a person named Jesse Hildebrand, who is just extremely credible. I mean, it was just incredible to hear someone speak so, and to just like not even. It didn't really. I feel like the truth really shone there. And then there was another interview about another ex-Mormon. I don't know if they consider themselves ex-Mormons, but it there's this consistency between. Jody Hildebrand was a basically like a soldier for the Mormon Church. That's what she did. That was her job. That's what I am surmising from the details that are out, and it seems fairly obvious that she was just she was an extension of them, but not. She was not a she was. It seemed that she was like a warrior for them, so she would. Uh, I mean, and I think it's sort of scary. I mean, what does that entail? So usually, if you think of a soldier, you think of someone that's fighting for something, right? Or like protecting somebody potentially. But what was she protecting? In fact, it actually is more. It's so sick. It's actually like just demonic. It's evil. It's evil. The Mormon Church just takes advantage of people. They're just asking assholes that have taken advantage of people. And yes, you can appeal to higher God. Anyone could appeal to God, and they would have a good point. God's good. Like the top of even theoretically, God is good, right? It's like you know God's the top. Like you don't question God theoretically and semantically. But what I'm trying to say is that she was enacting, I think, an agenda that the church probably was too, which was very, very dismissive of human life and quality of human life and truth and I realized that it's a cult. Mormonism is clearly, to be honest, a cult. The people are profiting a lot of money from Mormonism. They have a lot of money. They have $250 billion. They have $250 billion. They're richer than the richest man on earth as a cult. 250 billion. Why? How do you think they amassed that much money? I mean, how is that even plausible? What did they do? What? They took it from their members, and they took it. it's people who want money, and that's when these fucking religions get started. It's for money. It really is. I think we have to just call a spade and realize that Jody Hildebrand was made whole because of her cooperation with the Mormon Church. She was made into a successful therapist because she was suggested, like the Mormon Church, if they have $250 billion, I'm sure that their suggestion has some weight to it. You know, that's a lot of money to have, and money is valid, is like what people want on Earth. So if somebody has a lot of money, a lot of times it's sort of like they can. It's like, how can you criticize them, right? That's kind of what I mean. Obviously, it's not that hard to criticize rich people, but in Mormonism, they use God. They conflate God, which is like a theoretical, like high good principle, with basic human like instincts, like sex drives and stuff like that. And they it's a no-brainer, actually. I mean, it's a real good technique, a psychological manipulation tool, is to mix sex with God. I mean, like, you don't mix God with anything. It's like, that's, basically you shouldn't. Because God is not, it's like apples and oranges, but it's like even different, more different. It's like apples and like soda. That's how closely related. Or it's like, it's a different, I guess, apples are of God. God is not of God. Right? So it's like, theoretically, in mathematics. So it's like, if you conflate that, then you can kind of like really fuck with people's psyche. Because if you think about what is God, it's like probably somewhere along the line, it's like, it's your moral impulse, I guess. There's something about a moral impulse that kind of feels connected almost, right? I mean, it sort of connects you to other people. But survival, which is a kind of, it's a low, I guess they say it's like a low state of being, it's survivalism, to be in survival mode. Most people, I guess, are pretty much in survival. Like, and I don't mean that like that they're having panic attacks, but that their moral impulse has been completely replaced with desire to see themselves survive in, like, I guess what they deem to be, high fashion, if you will. And when that happens, then, and it happens, it's like subtle when it happens to one person out of a million. But if basically like 50%, maybe 40%, maybe more or less, of families are made up of a bunch of assholes who basically are just, they're so weakened by money and success and the ideas of it that they're like abusive, basically, then you have a real societal problem there, a real societal issue, because and I do think that that's very plausibly a huge part of the issue of mankind today, is that people are just like beyond jealous. They covet everything, and it's sort of like, I mean, with the Mormon Church, I mean, what do these people covet? Like, why do? I mean, is it that Jody enjoyed hurting people? Maybe. She maybe did. Or is it that she just wanted the money and didn't care at all if she had hurt people? Probably that too. One or the other. I mean, I don't know too many more explanations, I think. But that was an option for her, was to become a chaos agent. Essentially, you have a Jody Hildebrand who's like a chaos agent. Is someone who's just like, their job is to just weaken, I guess, everybody up, weaken society. Chaos is really kind of, when you talk about chaos, you talk about like a chaos agent. They sow discord through society. And I don't even think society even knows what discord is. Discord is fighting. Discord is like the arguments, right? But like I think that people have really forgotten that which part of the discord is the right side to be on. I don't think even I really do not see in my own family not one. I don't see any instinct towards being good just to be a good person. Not one shrivel of it. If I'm honest with myself, I really don't. I don't. I think that I see very calculated. Uh, that really probably think about it. They probably don't even realize to think about it. I mean, if they do it because they want to. They I don't know. Sometimes it's helpful to tell yourself that you're generous, but sometimes it's helpful to tell other people. But like, if you're an asshole to your family members and then you go out and like do charity on Christmas, like you're still an asshole, basically. Like you are still a huge asshole. And it's just that I think that we're looking at high numbers of assholes on Earth. Like, not even to be funny, but I think that's what the problem is. There's a bunch of people who, it's a choice. No, it's like I think that even the best of us probably have done it on some scale when we were young. Usually, like we bullied the kid that everyone else was bullying because it made us feel for a second that we weren't like the worst, but really around like I think sometime in your 20s hopefully you really are like, all right, I am jealous. My jealousy does not warrant abuse to the person I'm jealous of. It's just it sucks that that I don't have what I want and they do, but I can't abuse them and be mad at them. Like I have to be happy for them. I mean, even if I don't feel that way, I know that's really the right thing to do, and it is what I do, and it is the truth. It's you, and you recognize that jealous. You don't, so you have to realize you don't take your jealousy too seriously, and if you don't, now that's a choice too. It is a choice. I don't see how it's a choice. It's a choice. It's a choice. It's a choice that people seem to continuously make the decision that they would rather cause hurt for other people with no gain, no real tangible gain to themselves, than ever stand up for anybody, and like in a sort of righteous way. They would rather that person be. So let's say like there's an average person. What I'm saying is that most people are like this. So let's say somebody gets punched in the face randomly. 60% of people, if they witnessed it and they were asked by police, they would say, I didn't see anything, I don't care. Right? Instead of saying like, I saw that guy punch him in the face. Now, a lot of people realize that there's some danger to admit it to snitches get stitches. Okay, but there's people. Honestly, you should fucking say who punched who if you know. That's just. It's not just to not say it. Honestly, I know it's even at the risk of your own life. I mean, I guess at the risk of your own life, it really challenges you, right? Maybe, you know what, if you have a loved one, then maybe you so, but I don't give the benefit of the doubt just because I see how many selfish assholes there are. And how no one says anything until like something terrible happens. Like this woman was arrested, this millionaire, beautiful, who everyone knew she was like basically abusing her kids. She said she didn't let her kids sleep in a bed for 8 months. Now, if it was Japan, no one might care because they don't always sleep in beds. But here in America, that's considered a sort of tenet of being sheltered, is having a bed to sleep in. And that was on YouTube, and people criticized it, and YouTube is just like, oh, all right, we'll just leave it. We're not interested at all in that. But it's like it does sort of indicate abuse. She did it a few times. She did threaten her smallest child. And then there's Jody. And so you think, why the fuck would Ruby Frank leave the $1 million? Like, they were making millions off of that channel. Why would Ruby Frank leave 8 passengers, which is evil, everyone hates them, for something with like 50,000 subscribers, I think, Jody. With it makes it if you don't have any context, it makes no sense. It absolutely makes 0 sense if you don't know who Jody Hildebrand is. But then once you know who Jody is, it makes a lot of sense. So Ruby is a bitch. She's selfish. She's terminally selfish. She's a terminally selfish individual who likes to, like, she's just bored and she's like, fuck you, kids. She really doesn't care about them at all. She's a manipulative person. She's trying to, I bet you, like, I know that Ruby, I guess, is considered more famous than Jody. Jody, that she had more influence than Ruby Frank ever did. No one liked Ruby Frank. Jody, she was basically a like a warrior, I guess a soldier, warrior for the Mormon Church. Which means that, what does that mean? What does it mean? I said that earlier. What does that mean though? I guess, what is it? It means that she wrecked people's lives, and then basically people's lives are wrecked, and so they can't. So when the Mormon Church says your life's a mess, God is like trying to tell you, that's how you manipulate people. It's sort of like a little bit. It's sort of like if you tell someone they're an addict and that they're dishonest, and just because they're an addict that they're dishonest, like that there's no possible way that they're an honest person who's addicted to drugs, like, which is absurd. Of course, there's some honest addicts. It's a real there are some dishonest addicts too. But Jody's mission was to probably hurt people, because that really helps the Mormon Church. Because they seek out help and guidance. And if you're in the Mormon Church, you're going right to your fucking Mormon pastor or whatever it's called. And then guess what? He might say, you need to tithe more, my son. Or he might just say whatever he needs to say to make sure you don't leave the church. Not even that you don't leave, but that you're more entrenched. It's been an abusive situation. And Jody Hildebrand, I think, is the perfect face. The perfect face for the Mormon Church. And I think that there's a lot of that going on. I think there's a lot of Mormon Church-like stuff going on, where there's a lot of people who I don't know. I don't know if it's hard to have empathy for people that choose to be bad, to hurt. It's sort of like, it's almost like, I feel like I'm not supposed to have, I feel like you're not supposed to you're not supposed to just forgive them. You're just not, it's sort of like, it's not that I'm, I don't know. It's not my place. It's not my place. It's not my place to forgive these Mormon elites. And that is not a good sign, I would say. Like, I would say if I would, that's not a good sign. If I, it's you would be surprised at how much people covet. Like, how jealous they really are. Like, I don't know if it's I mean, it is their own fault. It is. It's your fault if you don't get that. I don't know. Is it their fault to covet? What is to covet? It means to really take too seriously the accomplishments of others. You know, Eh, you know. I think that's basically what it means. I mean, most people don't admit that they're like covetous. Most people don't admit that kind of thing. And so then on top of being coveting, they become a liar too. They really do. They become like they're in denial, like really deep denial about being so covetous. I mean, because it's sort of like they'll do something really nasty to somebody that they're jealous of, okay? And then they they'll never feel the need to be remorseful or to compensate for they and it shows you that they prioritize their coveted whatever it is over being a good person. And I know that that's a bit of a vague distinction, I guess. I mean, it shouldn't be, but it's not necessarily the most detailed. But that's, they'll hurt someone like, and I think that there's degrees of this sort of coveting, and I think that it's time for us for me to stop pretending. Like it's like enough is enough. Like I am literally not ever like gonna. It scares me, and a lot of stuff that's going on does scare me. If I feel that a lot of roles in society between people and professionals, let's just have become extremely misconstrued, like to a dangerous point across many. Honestly, like it's really quite scary. I think because I kind of basically theorize that about 40% at least are just coveting dangerous people that literally would sell you out in an instant. So when you're talking about a number like 40%, it's not 50, thank God. It could be though. It could be 70. I don't know. It could be 90 as far as I know. But 40 is enough where you're not necessarily going to get lucky every time. And so there's going to be people always messing with you, basically, if you're not on their, I guess, wavelength, or and I think people that recognize this need to take legal action, because what I'm talking to is amounts to crimes. Like I only I've only recently been kind of educated on potential I don't know, really like paganistic religious figures, and like when you invoke that type of stuff, like so the crimes. And so if you just did like a ritual to Satan, like, and that's all, and then you went about your life and you were very kind to everybody, That's not a problem. That's not a problem. So I'm not talking about that type of person. Uh, and in fact, I can't with any, I guess, I don't, I can say a bit that I do think that there is some Luciferian or Satanist like harassment happening on YouTube, and they ignore it. I mean, I know that's true for a fact. I know for a fact that that's true, but I don't know to what now I don't know to what extent the entire population is Luciferian in their jealousness, right? In these dynamics that are at play. So Jody Hildebrand. Now, did she think she was invoking God, or did she like? That's probably what she thought. It's more likely she thought she was invoking God than the devil, just based on a general sense of like what you can assume. And I can't assume a lot, so I don't know. So ultimately, I don't know what she did in her private life, but she very well like could have. Like, so if you see people talking about God in like a Mormon church, you see, oh, God's like all exalted. I'm taking that guy's side, right? Like, and you just do that, like, you know, and whether or not your actions are like, all right, I love God so much, but then you spend the rest of your day like ruining people's lives, and also if you ever connect the two. So if you connect, you know, your exaltation of God with your abuse of people, that's to me like what basically people mean by Satanism. I mean, I think that is what is meant to some degree. If, and I think that, you know, like way too many people are silent. Like way too many people. It's sort of like aggressive. It's like it kind of is like you guys need to buck up and say it when people are doing something wrong. Stand up and do something. Don't be quiet. I mean, I guess everyone has to make their own judgments, you know, based on a lot of variables. But I think too many people have ignored a lot of creepy shit, and even if they're not evil people, they are not good people. and it's not a competition either. And the thing is if you say that, people think, oh, well, I want, like, I'd rather people think I'm good than evil. That's not how you be good. You just have to kind of realize that you're not the most important thing in the world and want the best for other people, even if it makes you jealous. Now, if you try to dim someone's light because you're jealous, that's evil. Even if you do it, look, if you ever do that, it's evil. That's evil. You're gonna, I mean, that's evil in my opinion. I mean, that is. If you ever try to make someone seem bad and they're not, you're doing something extremely evil and criminal, probably. I mean, I can't believe it, this platform. I can't believe it. They didn't dismiss it, by the way. I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know that I'm not gonna. I don't know what I would do, you know, if I wasn't successful in this. I don't know how I would continue to advocate for people, you know, but I will, no matter what it ends up looking like. So, God, sick. You know, if any of those conspiracy theories turned out to be true, that would be really sad. Really fucking sad. And I guess I don't know. I don't know what YouTube has done to my fucking. Like, I don't even know what. I don't even know what. Who gets told of my webcasts or. Uh, I mean, this is like most of the market share. Honestly, it's really. I can't do Streamlabs. It's hard. It's too fucking hard. It's annoying and hard, and this is the easiest way to fucking record my thoughts for posterity. Okay? Which is important and part of the internet. But or YouTube has a lot of dominion, I guess, over the fate of the content. Which, fuck you, I don't even care. I don't even care. I don't care anymore about that. Because honestly, who's that impressing anyway? It's just fucking covetous assholes. But I still think I'm a king. I think that I'm awesome. I think I'm a good person. And I don't think that I say that lightly either. So I realize that all the bad things people have ever said about me are lies. And I'm going to start operating as such. Because I am a good person. Because I do the right thing usually. I think. I'm stuck in the fate. You've been knowing it for so many days. How did I ever get so stuck in the ways? Did you know you would turn like that? Heart's bad, but I couldn't admit it. Now I see that it's too late. can't fix it. I know it's hurting and it's not healing soon. You're feeling it you. And when I'm caught in my head, I'm stuck in a way. Oh, would you bring me back before I do it again? I know you're feeling it, 'cause I feel it too. But you change me the next time I have to. My life is yours, I just wouldn't admit it. But even though I know it's too late to fix it, my wounds ain't healing, and I ain't going to. I'm a feeling it until you. When I'm caught in the way, when I'm stuck in a place now, would you bring me back before I do it again? I know you feel it inside, feel it too. Ooh, save me the next time after you. After you. Oh, yeah. Feel it the next time after you. Staring at the ceiling, holding back my feelings. No, it's not appealing, but it's too bad. 'Cause I cannot escape it. If I want you, baby, I just can't escape it. And I know what you mean. Say you love me. Say you want me. Say you need me, baby, baby. Say you love me. Say you need me. Say you love me. Say you love me, love me. I've been trying to hold back, holding on to feelings I've been feeling so long. You would not believe that I cannot escape it. Yeah, I love you, baby. Just trying to believe it. Standing there, knowing I love you so bad. Say you love me. Say you want me. Say you need me, baby. Come on, now say you love me. Say you love me. Say you love me, love me. Say you say. Say you need me. Say you want me. Say you don't believe me. Say you love me when everyone leaves me. Say you love me, love me. Say you love me, love me, love me, love me, yeah. My heart is black, black, weekend breeze. No one knows except for you and me. Oh, feeling excited, feel too. Feel relative, you. My heart is black, but I wouldn't admit it. Now I know what to say. It's too late to fix it. I know you're feeling it, 'cause I feel too. We're feeling better this time after you.